I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Friday, March 23rd, 2018. Now before I get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who showed up for my Facebook Live video that I did last night on Mercury retrograde. I had a lot of fun. I hope I was clear given the current astrological circumstances going on, and of course, you know, I'm always worried about whether or not I'm getting my point across in the right way, but I hope you all enjoyed it. I will have the recording that will be online sometime today. You should see that appear on YouTube. So if you want to catch the replay, of course, you can always hop over to my Facebook page to watch it there, but I'll also upload it here shortly too on YouTube so that you can see it. All right, so that's what I have there. Another thing I wanted to mention, my planner, if you haven't seen it, this is it. If you can see it in the light. I'm trying to see if I can, oh, there we go, get it. But this is my astrological planner for 2018. If you're interested in it, it is available. I have special pages just for Mercury retrograde. Here, you might not be able to see it though. The print is kind of light. I really like pastels, so this is like a gold color here in the writing. But I do have a whole page on Mercury retrograde, what it's all about, to give you some questions for reflection if you're interested in that. And of course, I've got tons of other things in here on Jupiter retrograde, a lot of other retrogrades, Chiron, moving into Aries, Uranus and Taurus. There's calendars, so just thought I would let you know. It's here if you're interested, and if you want to have some worksheets to guide you through the year, right? So that's what we have there. I hope everyone is hanging in. I'm feeling good for the most part, hanging out with all these planets in Aries. I'm excited. I think I'm getting more clear-headed about things for sure, about what I need to do differently or better, especially with Mercury retrograde. I really do think, for me at least, it's going to help me figure out what I need to do better with my channel and with my business to run it in a way that feels more efficient and that I hope will be more authentic to me and just make me feel better. So I'm excited about Mercury retrograde in that sense. I'm excited with all these planets being in Aries, but I am a little anxious. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely feel like I'm just like nervous about something. So we'll see what that is, but I hope y'all are hanging in there. Now, for your horoscope, we've got the moon hanging out right here in Gemini, coming into the last degrees. Of course, bringing our attention to communicating, talking, thinking, being out and about around town, working with your neighbors and your siblings as well, comes into Gemini. And now what was going on at midnight, so last night and into today, we had the moon making a sextile over to the North Node. I think bringing up lots of conversations that were productive, that could help us understand what it is that we needed to be happy, to put our life in the right direction in some way. So I think that was a positive thing. However, right after that happened, the moon then came over into a square to Neptune, bringing up perhaps some confusion about what's going on or some uncomfortable feelings. Maybe we were communicating in some way and communicating in a positive way, maybe that we liked, but either the conversations that we had, maybe something that came up was unsettling in these conversations, or maybe just even like the act of communicating was unsettling because you're having to communicate about things going on inside you, maybe that you're still trying to work out emotionally and spiritually. All right, so I think that's what was going on yesterday and into today. Lots of good conversations, but maybe just feeling a little confused and not quite right inside about the feelings that are coming up. Okay, I don't see it being horrible though. Whatever it was that came up at midnight, which is it's about the time I'm filming it right now, that came up at midnight, because right after that happens at 3 a.m. Mountain Time, the moon then comes into a sextile with Mercury in Aries. Again, that's going to bring up, I think, more of an opportunity to get more insights, not only on what will make you happy with the sextile to the North Node, but also on you, on who you are, communicating about yourself, thinking about yourself. I like to think with Gemini, getting more clarity. I like to think, maybe it's because I am a Gemini, but I do like to think that that Geminis can be very clear thinkers, you know, with a lot of ideas coming in. And I think, hopefully, especially after this like crazy Neptune transit that we just had the past few days and weeks. I hope now with the moon being in Gemini and with Mercury going retrograde, I think we're trying to get more of that clarity that we've missed, to clear up the fog, to clear up a lot of the issues that we've had, to move forward. And I think that's what starts to come in here at 3 a.m. is that even though we're confused perhaps about something at midnight, I think we're trying to overcome the confusion, break through the confusion, find more of that clarity, understand more who we are, what we need to communicate about ourselves in better ways so that people understand really what's going on within us. All right, so I see that happening at 3 a.m. Could be lots of communicating, lots of thinking in some way if you're not talking to other people. Then at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, so what is that, like 7 hours later, the moon comes into a sextile with Venus. Again, that's, I think, a very positive thing. Sextiles are my favorite. They're definitely not too bad when they're to Mercury and Venus. So that could definitely bring around 10 a.m. I want to say lots of opportunities to communicate with relationships again about you, about who you are. Communicate as well with Venus about your values. Venus also rules the things that are important to you. So maybe that's also a good opportunity to understand, you know, this is what I value. This is what's important to me. This is what I need to do the things that I value, to feel more stable or comfortable with life as well when you get Venus in the mix, to do more of what it is that's really important to me. So again, I think there could be some positive insights and things that continue to come up about relationships, about money even, about what you need to do things that are important to you. So again, I see it being a very good thing to break through some confusion, to get some clarity, to start to feel like you're understanding better what it is that you need, and maybe even get more excited too. Sometimes that can happen with Aries and Gemini. Get more excited too about your life and the person you're becoming, about where things are going, ideally. Then about 12 hours later, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, the moon then moves through Gemini and comes into a sextile here with Uranus at the last few degrees of Aries, and that could definitely bring up as well some unexpected insights, some unexpected things that come in, perhaps from you communicating still the past day, today, about things with other people. Maybe you get some insights that you weren't expecting that come up. Also, what could happen with the sextile to Uranus maybe is seeing things in a different way could come in, or being able to express yourself especially more authentically. So maybe after communicating all day, maybe by the time it gets to the night time, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, maybe you start to feel like, okay, now that I'm talking to people, now that I'm being more open about what's going on with me, trying to get more familiar and more comfortable with everything that I've experienced, maybe you start to feel like it's much easier for you at that time to begin to express yourself in a way that really resonates with you, in a way that really represents you, is honest to you in some way. Maybe, wanting to express yourself uniquely. Maybe you begin to, allow your authentic self to come through in your communication. That can happen at 10 o'clock at night. The one thing that I do wonder about, though, is right after we have this really pretty aspect, all day, other than the square to Neptune that happened at midnight, things are really good all day with all these beautiful sextiles over here to all these Aries planets. But what happens is right after we have this sextile to Uranus at 10 p.m., we have a square to Chiron that the moon makes at 11 p.m. Mountain Time happening. So it's so weird. It's like things today I think are really pretty for us to understand better what we need, to get more clarity, to go back over with Mercury retrograde some issues from the past so that we can make them better and to understand what it is that we need. And then all of a sudden we get like this hard aspect coming in at 11 p.m., maybe bringing up some hurt feelings. Maybe what's going on here is that we start to get comfortable communicating about ourselves, about things that are important, and maybe with the moon in a sextile with Uranus, we get to be a little bit too open. I don't even know if too open is the word. I don't know if that's like a huge thing, but maybe we begin to say things that it is that we really feel that are authentically us, and maybe it's that feels uncomfortable. We're like, wait a second, did I just say that? I never thought that I would say that, or did I just think that? Weird. I never thought that would cross my mind, or maybe something, an unexpected thought, an unexpected conversation comes up up, or you or someone else says something that you weren't planning on, and maybe that's what is the uncomfortable thing that starts to come in at 11 o'clock at night, is that after expressing yourself all day, maybe you get comfortable saying some things that you really feel, or something unexpected comes out, and then that could be what's uncomfortable for you in some way. Because you're starting to speak more of what your truth is and of what you're feeling spiritually. Maybe that's causing the hurt feelings. But I think really needing to not let those hurt feelings get you down. I always say that with Chiron, and to keep continuing to communicate in a way that is authentic to you. All right. Coming in, because I do like sextiles. So I think if you can communicate about yourself authentically, I think in the end it is going to help you. Yeah. I mean, don't say anything that you might regret, of course, but I just don't think that's going to be a problem with the sextiles. So I just wouldn't worry. I think it's important to communicate authentically about who it is that you are, to say the things that are on your mind, and to just be, just be careful if there's any uncomfortable feelings that may come up about something that you might say at 11 o'clock at night. Then after that happens, we do have the moon enter Cancer tomorrow morning, 3 a.m. Mountain Time, right here. And when the moon's in Cancer, then it starts to bring our attention more to home and family, to our emotions, and to getting more comfortable with ourselves. And I think after we've been communicating and working things out in our mind for the past few days with the moon in Gemini, once the moon comes into Cancer, especially forming a first quarter moon, it gets to be more emotional. Okay, now that we've gathered a lot of information, tried to get comfortable with things, communicated with a lot of people, how can we start to understand emotionally what's going on, tend to our emotions, and especially start to get our emotions in the right place so that we can start to build something moving forward? How can we tend to our emotions in the right way so that we can do the responsibilities that Capricorn, Saturn, Mars is demanding of us in some way, and in a way that feels better about it all? So I think that's what starts to come in, not today, but tomorrow, is us really trying to then, after all of this stuff has come up in conversations about things going on with us, to try to figure out how we can get more emotionally comfortable with it all and take it and build something on it that really can help us and support us as we have some big responsibilities moving forward. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. You know, it's kind of interesting because what do we have? I mean, once the moon enters Cancer, it is going to square a bunch of these Aries planets, and it is going to oppose a bunch in Capricorn. So tomorrow could be a little bit stressful, definitely a lot going on coming in, but really needing to just focus here on how you can start to feel more comfortable, especially the next few days. Tend to your emotions so that you can start to build something. Yeah. I think that's what's going on there. Now, for stuff going on in the background, we've got Mars coming into very close to, here's Mars, an exact square with the Sun, again bringing up lots of action. So as we're communicating about things, maybe lots of passion coming in, these thoughts, these conversations fueling us to act in some way. Again, just needing to make sure with the square here that you're not being too impulsive, and that the things that you do can get you to where it is that you want to go, especially with Mercury retrograde, needing to make sure you're putting the thought in to make these things happen, so that you're not just doing things, but so that you're doing things that are best for you and can ultimately get to you to where you want to go. Also, we have Venus in a square with Pluto too. Again, that could be hard, even though lots of good conversations are going on. Maybe there's some stuff going on in relationships, some changes in finances, some changes with money. That could be a little challenging as well. But I think the more you can communicate in a way that is clear about what's going on, I think the easier it's going to be for you to handle some of these intense changes that are coming up in relationships and with money. All right. Okay, and just making sure that even if you're making any changes with relationships and money, that you're not being rash about these things, especially with Mercury retrograde, especially with Mars in the square with the Sun. I would just try to make sure that if there's any big change that you want to make, that it's well thought out, that it's what you really, really want before moving forward. So be careful with that Venus square Pluto coming in. Try to just temper some of your emotions if you have any hurt feelings or any hard emotions about things. So that you can make sure that you're doing them with a clear head. Yeah, and in a way that can to just feel better. All right. We also do have Jupiter too in a sextile with Pluto, which it'll be in for quite some time, with Jupiter going retrograde behind everything, really giving us a good opportunity to start to change things in our life for the better in some way. So I don't know, I do like what's kind of going on here. I think we're coming into a new chapter. I hope you all have seen, especially those of you that watch me, how the story has changed in a very big way from just a week ago, 2 weeks ago to now. It was a lot of doing something new, frustrations, anxiety, confusion, dealing with the past a few weeks ago, and now it's past, mostly gone, moving forward, doing things, passion, action, trying to bring everything together to make sure you're pointing your life in the right place, okay? So I just want to make sure that you're getting the story clear there on how things are transitioning in our lives in a big way at the moment. Now for your card for the day, the Fool reversed. Definitely what I've been saying with the Sun square Mars with this card, we can have a tendency when it comes to the Fool to be the fool, to be foolish, to be reckless, to take unnecessary risks. Sometimes with the Fool coming in, when the Fool's upright, it's a good time to take risks. When the Fool's reversed, it says you got to be careful. You better watch that next step. It's like a jester about to walk off a mountain, a cliff. And when it's reversed, it's saying that next step could definitely have you walk off the cliff. So you want to make sure whatever you're doing next, whatever move you are making is a good move, going to put you in the right place with this card. And don't be foolish, don't be reckless. And I think if you can put more thought and discipline into what you do, it's going to help you in the end have the conversations you need and put yourself in a place that's more solid than anything we've had in, like, especially the past since the year started. All right, and I think we're getting there if you just are patient, pace yourself, and make sure you're making plans that can last. All right, so that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I will talk to you later.